Hi, I'm Katie Johnson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here today to show you the new embossing and die cutting machine by Stampin' Up! This video is for anyone who doesn't already own an embossing and die cutting machine. It's for anyone who's thinking they need to replace their existing machine, and it's for anyone who's looking for something a little bit more portable. Now first let me say that every machine on the market works exactly the same. They all are going to have you crank your paper and your die cutting and embossing folder through a set of rollers that are going to squeeze everything together and cut it or emboss it. The differences are going to be the dimensions, the weight, the size of the slot, and the ease of use. Let me start by comparing this machine with the machine that I have been using. Prior to Stampin' Up! Coming out with their own machine, we contracted with a company and used to sell the Big Shot. So here they are side by side, and the thing that I like about it, because I've had mine for about a month now, so I can show you the features that I do like about it. I like the fact that this way it takes up much less space on my shelf, because I store mine on a shelf with all my stamp sets, and this one needed a much wider shelf. This one fits in much more snugly. You can't tell. Weight-wise, this one is maybe a little bit lighter. In terms of the bed, let me open up this machine, and this is what I mean by portable. I love the fact that this is portable. Look at this. So in terms of the bed, width-wise, they're exactly the same. They can handle the same set of materials, and this bed is maybe just a little bit longer. So once again, in terms of this machine and the features that I love about it, I love the fact that I can fold up this platform and now it becomes very portable. When I can go on vacation, I can take my craft supplies with me. As a demonstrator, when I go do events, I can take the machine, pack it up real easily to go with me. So let's open this up here. A couple of other things I'll point out. I do like this material for the grip, for the handle on top, and for this handle going around. On the Big Shot, it was a little smoother. This feels a little bit more non-slip in my hands, I think. Plus, it's pretty. I mean, look at this. It's got the pretty white and silver and gray. I like the colors on it. This machine comes with everything that you need to get started right away. So when you take it out of the box, you're going to get the machine with its arms folded up. You will have to assemble the handle, so that's a separate piece just in terms of the box and how it fits in, but that's easy to go together. So the instruction sheet will show you how to put the handle on in whatever your chosen language is. And there you get a visual for how to put the handle on. You also get a quick visual on how to put the papers through it. All right, when you buy a machine like this, when you invest the money in this machine, you're investing it because you want to do one of two things. You want to die cut or you want to emboss. Your instructions for using the machine are right on the plates themselves. The other thing that I really like, because there's going to be different shims for fitting through the machine based on whether you're die cutting or whether you're using a thin embossing folder or a thicker embossing folder. So all of those instructions are right here. The thin dies, the regular embossing folder, or the 3D embossing folders, which are a little bit differently. And look at this, guys, the plates are numbered. So it's not like you have to look for a plate and remember the name of the plate. The plates are all numbered. You have 5 different plates that come with it. Plate number 1 is your big, thick base plate. Plate number 2 is a plate that you're going to use as a shim for doing die cutting. The 2 number 3 plates are your basic shim plates that you're going to use for standard die cutting. And then number 4 is a special shim that you're going to use when you have 3D embossing folders. Now let's do a quick die cutting. On this plate number 1, which is used for everything, you have the instructions for everything. On plate number 2, which is just used for dies, you only have the instructions for the dies. It tells me verbally, place the die cutting edge down, and then it shows me exactly how to layer it. So that plate number 1 is in there. Plate number 2, this one, which is the shim, and then the 2 number 3 plates are going to sandwich my my die. The thing to know is that you always want your die, the cutting edge, facing one of these cutting plates. Otherwise, you're going to damage those 2 white ones down there. You also are going to want to give a little bit of headroom here so that that die isn't right up at the beginning of that white plate. And then you're going to start it in. I always put a hand on top just to stabilize it, and then move it through. All right. There is your beautifully die cut piece. Your cutting plates are going to get marked up as you use them for die cutting. Eventually you'll just need to replace them, and replacement plates are available. I'm going to take a moment to show you another product here. For this die, all of these pieces easily came out. Sometimes they don't, so sometimes you need to take a pokey tool and poke those pieces out if they don't release well enough. This is Stampin' Up's Take Your Pick tool. It's got a lot of features to it, so I'm going to take a minute to show you here. It's got a spatula blade and that pokey blade, and they kind of lock into place here. And this is a tacky end, so I can use that little putty that you see on the end down there to pick up sequins and things. But this unscrews. This is a separate item that you can purchase from the catalog. That would be a die brush, and it just rolls right into there. So if you had an intricate die where the pieces didn't all come out, you'd be able to use that die brush to help roll them out. Right, now let's look at embossing folders. There are two different kinds of embossing folders, and the difference is the width of them. This is just a regular embossing folder, and this one is a 3D embossing folder, which means it's going to give much more detail to the embossed image, which also means it's going to be thicker. Now, you'll see another difference between these. This is a 6x6, and this one is a thin one. Stampin' Up! Is coming out with a mini version of this. It's in the current catalog. It's not quite available yet, but it will be available soon. All of the directions for die cutting, regular embossing folders, 3D embossing folders, all of the directions are on this plate number 1. For a regular embossing folder, it's going to be this thick base plate, and then it's going to be my embossing folder sandwiched between the two number 3 plates. So there's my two number 3 plates, my embossing folder. Another thing, when you're using embossing folders, you want that folded edge of the folder to go through the machine first. Your folder goes between those two number 3 plates, and once again, you want to leave yourself a little bit of header room before it starts to roll through. Gives a beautiful image. And let's take a look at a 3D folder. And because of the extra thickness of this 3D folder, these two plates, using these two plates, it would be too thick to go through the machine. So instead, you're going to replace these two with a number 4 plate. And again, the instructions are printed on. With a 3D embossing folder, you want to just use the folder with the paper in it on top of this plate number 1, and then sandwiched with number 4 on top. And I think you can tell from the video what a 3D folder does, because can you see that some of these bricks seem to be standing out a little bit more from some of the other bricks in that wall? That's what a 3D does. It gives you extra depth to your embossing, which means, of course, the folder has to be extra deep. All right, I brought out one more thing to show you. This base plate gives you your extra depth, and you might be wondering, why do I need a plate that's so deep to run all these sandwiches through? And here's the answer. Stampin' Up! No longer sells the thick steel-ruled dies, but we used to, and there's certainly still a lot of these that are on the market. So let's see, you probably can't see the markings in here. This is going to cut 2 scallop circles, but you'll see that the depth of this thing is the same as the depth of that white plate. So when I want to cut using this die, I'm going to use my 2 number 3 plates. Like I said, all these machines work exactly the same. Everybody's dies and embossing folders work with everybody else's machine. It's just a matter of getting the right sandwich going through. So this machine will work with the old steel cut dies. All you need to do is replace that number 1 plate with the steel rule die. And once again, I love the fact that the arms fold up, easy storage, makes it portable. I mentioned that these number 3 plates are going to end up getting lots of cut lines in them, and eventually you're going to want to replace them. Let's take a quick look at what's available for replacement and items that are not available yet but will be soon. This is the new 2021 catalog where the stamping and die cutting machine first became available. I'm looking at pages 170 and 171. This is the machine that I just showed you. It will be available to customers starting September 1st. This is the mini travel version of it. It does thinner dies. You can't fit the full 6x6 embossing folders in here, or the big dies. But this little mini version will be available coming soon. Here you can see the 2 of them side by side. And like I said, it comes with the 5 plates, but let's see what else is available. So you can get a replacement base plate, and the basic die that you need is the shim for die cutting. These are the 2 number 3 plates if you need to replace them. That specialty plate for the 3D embossing folders, if you lose it, you can always replace that one. In addition to that, 2 other items, which I don't have because they're not available yet, but this is the magnetic cutting plate. I can't wait for that one. And then these are some impression mats that you would use if you wanted to use your dies to emboss instead of die cut, because yes, you can do that too. And then this is all available for the big machine, and likewise available for the small machine as well. And here's where that brush tip for your take your pick tool is available. So I hoped that gave you some insight into how this machine works. So if you are in the market for a new machine, if you haven't purchased a machine yet, if you're looking for something that's portable, definitely consider this machine. This is available starting September 1. It makes a wonderful gift. The holidays are coming up. Let people know that you're in the market for it. Or if you know a new crafter who's just beginning to invest in the hobby, this makes a wonderful gift. Now, it's $120. Let me tell you how you can get it for $99. Stampin'Up's starter kit is completely customizable. You can choose whatever you want. Demonstrators right off the top get a 20% discount on all personal purchases, and that starts with the starter kit. So you choose $125 worth of product and you pay $99. This fits into that price range. In fact, you'd have $5 to spare. So if you chose this machine as your starter kit option, you would pay $99 for it. I'm Katie Johnson. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. If you have any questions about this product or anything stamping related, leave them in the comments or private message me, because I'm here to put a smile on your face every time you even think about getting out your Stampin' Up! Supplies.